Everyone asks the wrong question about Jensen Huang. They ask, how did he build a $3 trillion company? As if the company is the story. It isn't. The real question, the one worth asking, is this: how does a person become someone who cannot be broken by circumstance? Jensen Huang has been disrupted, repeatedly, structurally, from birth, and every single time, he did not just survive, he became something new. That is not resilience, that is adaptability. And it is the only real explanation for everything that followed. He was born in 1963 into a family of Hakka people. The Hakka are an ethnic minority within Chinese culture, a people displaced so many times across centuries that displacement became part of their identity. The word Hakka literally means guest people, people without a permanent home, people who adapted or disappeared. Wherever they went, they were outsiders. Wherever they stayed, they built something. What looks like misfortune from a distance looks different up close. It looks like centuries of training. His family later relocated to Thailand, where Chinese people faced discrimination. His father, educated and intelligent, took work that was dangerous and beneath his abilities. There is something a child absorbs when they watch a parent maintain dignity under indignity. It becomes the answer to a question the child has not yet learned to ask. What do I do when the world does not accommodate me? Jensen Huang received that answer before he could articulate the question. In 1973, when he was just 10 years old, his parents sent their 2 sons to America, ahead of themselves, without them. The boys had been told they were going to a prestigious school. Instead, Jensen found himself at a boarding school in rural Kentucky. He was the only Asian student in his year. His English was broken. His roommate carried a knife, and every morning to reach school, he crossed a bridge over a river where older boys would wait and try to knock him off. Not metaphorically, literally. He crossed it anyway, every morning, for months. Most people hear that story and think, toughness. But it wasn't toughness, it was calibration. When you've survived something genuinely difficult, your definition of difficulty changes. The bridge became the ruler by which future crises would be measured, and every future crisis looked smaller. Years later in 1993, Jensen Huang sat in a Denny's restaurant with 2 engineers. They had no product, no customers, no guarantee, just an idea. A company called NVIDIA. The idea was simple. Computers were becoming visual. Images required millions of calculations happening at the same time. The existing chips weren't built for that world. A different kind of chip was needed, the GPU. Simple idea, almost fatal execution. Their first product failed. The company came dangerously close to collapse. A critical partnership disappeared. The plan evaporated. The future vanished. Most people would have tried to save the original idea. Jensen did something else. He rebuilt it. The company pivoted. A new chip was developed, and that chip saved NVIDIA. What's fascinating is that the better solution only appeared after the failure. The crisis forced them toward a stronger answer. That's adaptability, not refusing to change. Changing before reality forces you to. Over the next 2 decades, NVIDIA kept reinventing itself. Graphics, gaming, scientific computing, data centers, artificial intelligence, every stage required letting go of the previous version. Most companies fail because they become attached to what once made them successful. NVIDIA survived because it never stopped evolving, and neither did Jensen. Then came another test. In 2006, NVIDIA launched a project called CUDA, a platform that allowed researchers to use GPUs for far more than graphics. At the time, almost nobody cared. The world wasn't interested, investors weren't excited, the future wasn't obvious. But Jensen kept investing. While products failed, while competitors attacked, he kept going. Not because he could see the future, but because he understood something deeper. Adaptability isn't just knowing when to change, it's knowing when not to. Years later, the AI revolution arrived, and suddenly the world needed exactly what NVIDIA had spent years quietly building. People called it vision, maybe, but another explanation exists. Jensen Huang spent his entire life adapting to change, so when the future arrived, he was already prepared for it. And maybe that's the hidden lesson in his story. Not intelligence, not confidence, not even ambition. Adaptability. The willingness to become a new person when circumstances demand it. Because life doesn't reward the strongest, and it doesn't always reward the smartest. It rewards the people who can face a changing world and change with it. We are living in a world Jensen Huang helped build, Not because he was never disrupted, but because every disruption taught him the same lesson. The world can change overnight, so learn how to change faster. That's not business. That's survival.